RealTuners Radio.
Do you want to learn how to tune electronic fuel injection live in person with the guys from RealTuners? We have 2-day courses in dyno shops across the country. Register for these at RealTuners.com. Click on RealTuners Live Classes. For more info or to make a reservation, go to RealTuners.com or message us at RealTuners LLC on Facebook. Learn how to tune your own standalone EFI systems like Holley, Fuel Tech, Megasquirt, Fast, and others on the chassis dyno. Includes topics such as traction control, individual cylinder tuning on a budget, safe tuning for maximum power, and power adder tuning. Upcoming classes with available seats are as follows: Detroit, Michigan, EFI Essentials on June 31st and July 1st. Then we'll be at Nano Nitrous in Kansas City on July 21st and 22nd. Stay tuned for more dates as well as dates for our new GM Gen 3 and 4 factory ECU tuning classes. Sign up for updates at RealTuners.com. These classes are designed to help you get your project running successfully in a course taught by people who actually do this stuff for a living. Good evening and welcome to RealTuners Radio, episode 49. Tonight's guest, Scott Parker of Power Automedia, the guys who are running the Horsepower Wars $10,000 drag shootout. And keeping you entertained is our panel of hosts, including but not limited to John Bewley from Little John's Motorsports Solutions, Tom Sewell from Fuel Injector Development, James Short from Shore Tuning, Mark Dahlquist from Throttles Performance, Bill Fowler from Bear Brakes, Scott Evans with Helix Tuning, Tom Bigyou from Brian Tooley Racing, Cody Bruce and Mo Lonis from Nano Nitrous, Chad Reynolds from Bangshift.com, and Rye Klemp from Bull City Speed. I'm your host, Scott Clark. Welcome to RealTuners Radio, episode number 49. And welcome, everybody, to a special Thursday evening episode of RealTuners Radio, episode number 49. Coming up on that 1 year mark real fast. What's going on? So, big apologies to everybody for not making the podcast last night. Had a bunch of people give me a hard time and disappointed because I didn't get the show going. I brought my stuff with me on a road trip, and we ended up going to a test and tune at Brainerd International Raceway last night, which is an amazing facility just for test and tune. They had drifting, drag racing, and road course racing going on. Had a whole bunch of friends up there that I knew, and I was up there with a couple of cool guys. Actually, I should just give them a shout out right now. I just want to kick off the show and say, extend a special thank you to my buddies, Wade Delorier. First of all, he organized a kind of a podcast listeners tuning 3-day or 2-day thing that we did up there in Minneapolis that was cool. Matt Haney was up there, Derek Tom, and Cody Zeals. You guys absolutely rule. I had a blast with these guys. They brought, basically just each brought their cars with them. There were, well, I guess 4 cars there we worked on. Cool stuff. We spent 2 days on their dyno at JM Automotive in Minneapolis. And then went to the track. Took Wade's car up to the track last night at up the Brainerd International to the test and tune, and we got his little 120 cubic inch street drivable Eagle Talon. We cracked 150 miles an hour. We actually got basically sent home last night because he didn't have a parachute on the car yet, which was kind of an achievement unlocked thing for him. These guys are hilarious. If you looked at the Facebook post I was making, they actually had Strawberry to Strong little magnetic things, stickers or whatever made up that were super bitchin'. But anyway, they're fans of the podcast. Super cool guys. I had so much fun. It was so cool. It was like going back to the days where like you didn't do this for a living. You just kind of tuned with your buddies on their hot rods and everybody tried to help each other make each other's cars go faster, which was kind of cool. I just came back with kind of a renewed interest in the hot rodding thing at the average guy level, which was really cool. It was cool to see those guys doing well. If you saw my Facebook post, look on Scott Clark's Facebook page. That's me. check out, obviously, Wade's car. Wade's 120 cubic inch Mitsubishi 4G63 all-wheel drive automatic car. He had 4 of the AEM, he had the AEM 4-channel pressure compensated wideband O2s before the turbo, and they absolutely lived. They lived for 18 dyno pulls. They made a bunch of passes at the track last night, had no problems. And he had a 5th O2 sensor downstream of the turbocharger to kind of see at what point did the pre-turbo individual cylinder O2s start to drift. It was pretty cool. I ended up with about an 8% difference between those 4 cylinders, so he had a good intake manifold on there. And then it was neat. Up to about 40 PSI, now about 30 PSI, before any drift between the pre and post turbo O2 sensors. And it only ended up being like 0.2 to maybe 0.2 or 0.3 of a gasoline air fuel ratio. I ran the car on C16, but north of 40 PSI, very cool. Then the next car we tuned, which absolutely you got to check out. It's a white Turbo Regal. So kind of think Grand National, only the white ones, the Turbo Regals. Only slightly different engine combo. It had a 5.5 liter twin turbo Mercedes V12 on Megasquirt with 12 LS coil packs. Absolutely bitchin'. And I unmuted you other guys so you can start to comment on this. I don't know if you guys saw this on my Facebook post or not. Dude, this guy has the legit, and I mean, it's like a 600 horse, 600 foot-pounds just on low boost pump gas deal all day long, crazy. I mean, it'll outrun a whole lot of just, built up 3.8 liter turbo Buicks. I thought it was kind of cool. And he'd been through the whole, turbo 3.8 stuff, and he wanted something more original, and he was pretty crafty. So anyway, ended up with this Mercedes V12 in this Buick, shoehorned in there. It had an NAG or NAG, whatever transmission that had a PCS controller on the trans. It had a third-party drive-by-wire throttle controller, the MS3 Pro Gen 1 doing fuel and ignition on the ECU. And he had it all pretty much working. We just kind of smoothed off the sharp edges a little bit and kind of put some good manners into it. But super bitchin' setup. I was really impressed.
Two things on that.
Yeah.
Is there any transmission in the world that the PCS guys can't figure out how to control?
No, I know. I couldn't believe there was a controller for it, man. He's like, no, they got it figured out. Yeah.
Those guys are insane. Like, it's so badass. Crazy.
Oh, this car was awesome.
The other deal is, dude, Mercedes. Like, my dad worked for Mercedes for years, and they always had way more power than people realize. Now, in recent years, like the last decade, you can buy Mercedes that run like 11s and 12s in the quarter off the showroom floor,
right?
And they're still a Mercedes.
I know, right? And they're tough as nails.
Crazy.
Yeah, that motor's tough as nails.
Yeah.
It was an under square motor, little tiny bore, big long stroke, 5.5 liters, and it sounded unique enough. But I mean, it's a cool cruiser, man. It's a cool cruiser that I'm sure it'll break off mid 9s just as it sits, but without even pushing it. But oh man, just had a good time. And then the last thing I got to work on, we got as far as we could. Car had some other issues that they were dealing with from previous owner stuff, but a couple of Subarus that had M-Tron ECUs on them, an M-Tron KV8. My first time working on M-Tron, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Got good support from Nick Pavlovsky up in, where's he at? He's up in the Northeast somewhere. But anyway, he's their U.S. rep that we worked with. And man, I don't know. I fell in love with that system because it gives you kind of a next level up, higher end, a little more complicated, complex. But if you're looking for the advanced feature set, for the money, that was hard to beat. Felt like I was on an $8,000 ECU that cost $2,600. So anyway, it was neat. Went through the learning curve on that. Took me about an hour to get up to speed and comfortable with it, and then was super happy with how that thing ran. And I noticed they added a bunch of drag features and stuff to it. So anyway, it was pretty cool. Let's see. What else? Well, so anyway, yeah, shout out to the guys up in Minnesota, man. That was really cool. And I don't know if anybody else out there has the same idea as they did. They pooled some funds together and brought me up there to help them get their cars going. I think that ended up being super cool. It's to the point it was cool enough I'd like to do it, like, again with those guys. Just cool group of dudes. But let's get on to tonight's guest, man. Well, first off, let's talk about the hosts we have on here. Let me see. Who all we got logged in here? So I got Mr. Bill Fowler is on board. I think he's at the vet with his dog, so he may be on mute. Got Dan Parker on here. Mr. Parker, are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, good job. And you even got the mute button figured out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Dude, hey Dan, how's everything looking out there in Alabama tonight?
It's looking a little dark. It's stormy.
You guys are tasteless. Holy
Hey,
crap.
like I said,
Hey,
everything
he's a friend now. He gets ball busted just like the rest of us.
Oh, I
do.
know, and he takes it like a
No
man.
slack.
Yeah.
like
I know he does.
like I said, everything I buy is sight unseen. You might feel Scott Parker, a guest in on this situation here.
Right.
Yep.
No,
Exactly.
we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yep.
Candace, the world's fastest blind man, put it that way. But
Chad, my buddy was trying to buy a Studebaker box truck slammed on 20s the other day, and it was in Oklahoma, and that's where he bought my Corvette. And he was, I said, man, I don't want to hear about having to drive all the way to Oklahoma. I said, I drove all the way to Oklahoma and bought my Corvette sight unseen. I still ain't seen it yet. He said, well, I don't want to hear this crap.
holy crap.
So awesome.
Oh, man.
approve.
All right. Continuing through the list of hosts, Mr. Jimmy Bowling is on here, which is cool because he may have questions, but he may be just staying on mute. We may put him on perma mute based on the topic
good
tonight.
behavior tonight.
No, good. I think I got James Shore on here too. James, are you on here?
Yeah, just dialed in.
Bitchin'. Good job, man. Good job. John Bewley, Little John's Motorsports. What's up, dude?
Oh man, just another day in paradise.
Another Thursday.
Thursday this time.
A little
One
closer
day
to the
closer
weekend.
How are
Yeah.
you, my brother from another mother?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Chad. How are you?
Fine. Have you started drinking yet?
I have not started drinking yet. I just got done working like just a few minutes ago. I actually had to do some manual labor this evening. It was terrible.
Wow. Let's not make a habit of that.
I know, right?
Next up, Mo Lonis from Nano Nitrous. What's going on, Mo?
Oh, another evening in Kansas City.
Hopefully it's cooling off a little bit there, man. It was kind of hot today. It was like mid-90s when I got home.
It's been raining.
Yeah, no, we didn't have that up here no more. I'm 3 hours north of Mo, but anyway, getting ready for a class at the end of July at Mo's shop. People are starting to sign up, dude. It's good stuff. It's going to be a good time. Got a RealTuners class coming up in Kansas City at LSX Killer and Nano, which is cool because actually it's going to be better than the average class because he's got a bunch of cool stuff to play with at his shop to show us, like injector, flow bench. He flows nitrous goodies up there, knows a lot about nitrous. That's going to be a fun power outer class for standalone guys. But next up,
What date is that? guys?
July 24th and 5th.
22nd, 23rd.
22nd, 23rd. Sorry, man. I was just guessing that. Sorry about that. Well, that's at realtuners.com. Go check out the schedule. I'm not like that marketing guy that's got all that stuff at my fingertips.
21st and 22nd. I'm leaving the day off.
21st and 22nd. It's a Saturday and Sunday, whatever it is.
Yeah,
but
that's 21 and 22.
yeah. You want to
Monday,
go to
the
that
23rd
class.
is Monday the 23rd is my birthday.
Nice, man. That'll be cool. I'm going to write that down and give you a shit. So.
Oh no, you got to be nice to me. It's my last one in the 30s.
Oh, that's funny. Giving away his age. You're still younger than me. That sucks. So yeah, if for people that are interested, there are seats open for that class, and Kansas City is a good cheap place to fly into. Not a bad idea if you're from out of town and you want to come to that class. Highly recommend it. We got guys coming from Texas already. James McEwen's coming. And who the hell's got their phone binging away?
My bad, dude.
No, it's all right, man. It's all right. So you know me though. I say it's all right audio, but then I'm going to be on the chat message and no one else can hear saying, "Turn off your effing phone." But
it just goes to show you how easy I can tune shit out because I wasn't even hearing it.
Right.
Everybody has to take a drink now. There was an audio issue.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm Dr.
Damn
Pepper
it.
tonight because I'm strawberried out after this last 3 days. Okay, cool. Scott Evans, are you with us, brother? Are you still here?
I'm here. Drinking some
Outstanding.
Orchard cider.
Nice. And you are back in Vegas now, right? No more Dallas Fort Worth?
Yes, back to Vegas.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Cool. Well, let's introduce. We got somebody. Who's the 909 area code guy? Who's that? It's on here. Last guy on the list. Anybody know who that is?
It's me. It's Chad.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Sorry, dude. You're supposed to put your name in there. No. It's cool. It's cool. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about our guest tonight. Let's let him do some talking here in a minute. But I just want to introduce him. This is pretty cool. Bill Fowler from Bear reached out to this guy, the guys at Power Automedia. They're the ones that bring you horsepowerwars.com. Check out horsepowerwars.com. They have 4 different things going on. They have Pony Wars. They have the LS versus Coyote shootout. They've got the True Street Dyno Challenge. And finally, the one that we've been talking about a lot, the $10,000 drag shootout, which is super cool. So we're able to get a hold of the director of content and strategy at Power Automedia. Let me back up. They do a lot of cool stuff. All right. They bring you live streaming video from a bunch of the events that we watch. They have Drag Zine. They have a bunch of magazines, kind of a whole gigantic auto media. And these guys are kind of at the cutting edge. Not your typical magazine background, but they have guys that are video gurus. They pretty much every possible way that you can have media brought to you, they're bringing it, and a much higher production value than what you're sitting here listening to now. So highly recommend checking them out. But anyway, welcome tonight's guest, Scott Parker. How's it going, Scott?
Going great. How are you
Good,
guys?
good, man. Glad to have you here. Yeah. So I guess before we get into the shootout stuff, can you tell us a little bit about Power Automedia, its background, what it's about? You guys actually have been around a long time that I've seen.
Yeah, we've been around over 10 years. We were originally founded to be pretty video centric, and then we really sorted in the early years of the conception. We started to pivot more towards digital magazines and developing the concept of a digital magazine. Right now, we have 14 magazines. You also mentioned we have speed video, we have live streaming, and then we have our video production services, Alloy Studios.
Got it. Okay. Is that the kind of thing, or do you guys like produce commercials and advertising for third parties as well then?
Yes, we do. So we do things for whether it's commercials, white label videos, we do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
For a variety of automotive clients.
Man, that's a good way to leverage your production talents there in-house, which are huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. So specifically, one of your subsets is horsepowerwars.com, right?
That's right.
Okay. And I mean, what we've been getting a bazillion questions about, and the reason we reached out to you, and thank you, by the way, for responding, that we really appreciate that. I mean, we're not the biggest, we're not the sharpest, but we are definitely the blue collar tuning crowd, mostly drag racers. But can you tell us a little bit about the $10,000 drag shootout?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned earlier, the 10K drag shoot is actually the second of the 4 stories that we have for Horsepower Wars this year. The 10K drag shootout, basically the concept is you get $10,000 to build a car, $3,000 goes towards the purchase of the car, and the other $7,000 goes through purchasing parts to upgrade the car. And then we're going to we have 4 teams, and we're going to see who goes fastest among the 4 teams.
Gotcha.
So did you guys, when you were coming up with this, did you guys have any predictions as to internally as to what you thought the performance number would end up being for the 10 grand?
We had some guesses. We were thinking, I think some of the guesses we had were probably in the 10s. Some of our competitors are saying they're going to go for 8s and 9s. So we'll see if that happens.
I know your rules are, very specific and what have you. So I think that's going to limit it a little bit. But I think definitely for 10 grand, people, if the rules were wide open, I think people would go 8, no problem, on $10,000. I think 10 will be pretty easy. I think anybody who isn't running in the 10s will get left in the dust. When Eric Yost and the crew absolutely hands everybody their ass, because that's exactly what's going to happen.
I don't know, man. Jimmy B bowling is on tonight, and dude, it's going to be Yost and the Jimmy's crew and Dean Carnes and those guys. That's going to be. I mean, these are 2 groups of very fast people. Yost is not on tonight.
No, but did he make the show?
I don't think it's official yet. Yeah,
it's not official, but I think he will.
Their votes are jamming. Their percentage is huge. Go vote for them. But
they have to.
Yeah. Team Biggin's a bunch of. I mean, so whatever the rules, I don't even know the whole details, Chad. But I know that they are zeroing in on some fast mofo's, right? So you got the right people being picked. I mean, something's going right there. It's going to be very entertaining. Some very fast dudes. But okay, cool. So can you talk about the rules just for those of us that aren't familiar with the whole thing? And I mean, we've talked about, we got the overview already, but I mean, I guess, is it 3,000 out of the 10 has to go for the car itself?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
do you have a pool of cars for them to choose from, or do they get to go find whatever they want?
We're going to release more information about some of the rules. We have the preliminary rules up, but we do have we are going to have some cars on hand, and then the other 7,000 that you're going to get to spend on it is going to be through Summit Racing. You basically get handed a Summit Racing gift card.
Sweet. So make sure Yost gets the front wheel drive car. They need to make it balanced and fair for everybody else.
I think that would be funny, but I think that he would still show everybody what he can do.
I mean, yeah, there's ex-Cup car guys. Come on, Drag Week, multi-time Drag Week and Rocky Mountain Race Week winners. And again, Bowling and these guys, Jimmy, their team, I think they're pretty good at scrounging on low buck stuff. I'm just curious to see between those two. Either one, both groups are Real Tuners, tight friends of Real Tuners here. So, man, that's awesome. I'm stoked to see how this goes. I
think what's interesting about these guys that, we're talking about that are, like you said, the premier level guys, is that these aren't just guys that put together cars and what have you. I was at Yost's place a couple weeks ago and just visiting because we were in town, and always good to see Eric. But, these are the guys that are actually responsible for a bunch of the parts that we can buy from Summit, and Jegs and whoever, because they're the guys that call manufacturers and go, yeah, I need this. And the manufacturer's like, why would anybody need that? And then they explain it. And then the manufacturer starts making stuff. So the truth of the matter is, these guys they're a different level, and it should be fun. If we get the premier guys, like you said, these are going to be some fun teams to watch.
Yeah, for sure. How did you decide on the teams that are competing? So some of them have already been selected. Some of them have yet to go. Well, give us a little detail on that, Scott.
Yeah, that's a great question. So at this point, we released the top 5 teams who are going to be the final 5 teams. 2 of them have been selected as the top 2, and they're going to be in it for sure. And that's Disco Dean and Team Stinky Pinky, and then the Bodie Dow brothers race cars. They're going to be the top 2 that are in it. And then for the 3rd spot, we're actually in voting right now. We have this Facebook poll going. For sure, go to horsepowerwars.com or go to our Facebook page for Horsepower Wars, and you'll see the voting poll up there. We're going to be selecting through from Team Biggin, West Bend, and Team Dirty Jersey. That's how we're going to basically do a popular vote to decide who's that 3rd team.
God, all those guys are fast. Every one of these guys involved in here do fast stuff. I know I know people from every one of those teams.
Absolutely, and the 4th team is actually going to be a dream team that we're assembling. Comp Cams is sponsoring that. So some of the guys that maybe you liked that were in the top 10 that did make it to the 5, they could very easily be on the dream team. So anyone's guess who's going to be on that team at this point, but that could be a really really powerful punch in this contest.
Outstanding. When does it actually take place? Do you have a date yet for this?
Yes, we do. We're for the race itself is actually going to be at the Shakedown at Summit Racing Motorsports Park.
Oh, so out on the east.
Yep.
Nice.
Absolutely. Okay. That's going to be. We're going to do that live. That's going to be live. We're going to live stream the whole thing. So
nice. And you guys have wicked good high production quality for your live streams. That's going to be outstanding. I can't wait to see that. Huh. Okay. Cool. So I guess that brings me to my next question. How is the competition being covered? It's going to be social media, live feeds, etc. I mean, I see Dennis Pitzenbarger is involved.
Exactly. So we've got so we'll have full episodes that will lead up to the live stream. So basically I forgot to mention this before, the entire build only takes place over 10 days. So $10,000 over 10 days. And Dennis is actually one of our hosts. The other host is Brian Petty, who you would already have seen if you've been tuning in to some of the videos we have already.
Yep.
So those 2 are going to be our hosts. As I said, it's going to take place over 10 days, and then those episodes will be released and then after the final episode will be the live stream of the whole of the competition.
And that's going to be nuts doing that live. Somebody's going to break. Somebody's going to win. Surprising stuff's going to happen. This is a good idea. I like how this is laid out. Oh, very good. I don't know. Other guys got questions? Anybody else got questions for Scott while we got him on here? I got a whole bunch of people on different chat windows. Could feel free to ask.
Why don't you tell us about some of the other stuff you're involved with? Because I heard you're with Dragzine and you're with some of the other internet editorials that we read.
Absolutely. So yeah, so we've got Dragzine, we've got Chevy Hardcore, Corvette Online, Diesel Army, Engine Labs, Ford Muscle, Ford Next, LSX Magazine, Off-Road Extreme, One Dirt, Power and Performance, Rod Authority, Street Muscle, and Turnology, and then also Speed Video as well.
Engine Labs fan here, Dragzine fan as well. Awesome.
Is there any thoughts of combining LSX and what was that? The Ford one you said?
Ford Next or Ford Muscle?
I thought I heard Ford Mustang and LS, and I just thought you just combine the two because that's what everybody does. Sorry, I misinterpreted.
Okay, you're going to
stop
hell.
That.
You're going to hell.
Sure. Yeah, we have.
I'm sorry, but it's a certifiable fact that the only way to make a Mustang fast is to put a turbo LS combo in it.
Oh,
Everybody knows that. I don't know why people keep fighting it.
And you need to listen to the Ken Bionis. You need to go back and listen to the Ken Bionis episode that we did. I don't know about that, Chad. Those guys are going super fast on crazy stock stuff.
I remember that was we crashed because the Ford throttle body stayed open episode. I know it because I just drove one last weekend and had the exact same thing. Luckily, there was no wall nearby. Ford's lucky. It's why the Mustangs all crash coming out of car shows.
Jeez.
No, I've been building a lot of boat engines lately, and I do need some boat anchors. So I could maybe see a modular motor in here at some point.
More change than
There
brain.
you go.
So, okay, let's see what else we got to talk about here. Talk to me about the LS versus Coyote. You're on your second iteration of that, if I understand it right, under Horsepower Wars.
Absolutely. So we on the first iteration, this is really what started Horsepower Wars for us. We did an LS versus Coyote shootout with a budget of just under 10 grand, and it was naturally aspirated. So this time we're going to take a similar concept. We're going to have a set budget, but we're going to throw boost at it, and we're going to see which one is better with boost.
That's going to be tough, actually. That's going to be pretty tricky because right now they both do really good with boost. I mean, you got to love you some Coyotes.
Is it going to be blower or turbo?
Blower. ProCharger is sponsoring this, and we're going to be throwing whatever they can handle.
Man,
it should make some serious power.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody take a drink. That was my bad.
Are these going to be like stock bottom end motors, or are they going to be like rod piston motors, or
most likely they'll be belt motors. I believe we talked about a 15 grand budget. Last time our budget was 10 grand. So we're probably going to up it to 15 grand, not including blower. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, right? Because I mean, a lot of you guys are LS guys, so the head build issue, and then you've got some concerns with head flow, Coyote versus LS, and then there's the cubic, but then the LS has the cubic inch advantage. So it would be really interesting to see who comes out on top and why.
Trick flow 220s and let me do the cam, and I bet the LS wins.
Let's
I
add
got $20 on that guy.
Yeah, but you need to get into Coyote cams. You make 4 times the money, Bewley. You just need to turn over to the
just
dark
4 times
side.
a headache for the grinder.
Let's make it interesting. Let's add a big block Chevy to the mix.
Boom! Drops mic, walks off stage, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, this is for stuff that was been made for the last 40 years, Mark. Sorry. You want to put a carburetor on it, too?
They made big blocks up till like 10 years ago. Don't mess around, dude.
Yeah, I know.
No
You can
replacement for displacement.
Yeah, you can get them in stationary
is.
engines and powering a pump jack. Awesome. I like what they're doing.
Hey, I'm all over it.
Hey, it's physically smaller than a Coyote. It fits in a contest.
Very true. It's considered a small motor in comparison to any of the Fords. Also, think about this. How do you make any of the rest of them 632 inches? Thank you very much.
Yeah, but if you can step up, I'd like to see that 632 doing, let's see, what was Wade Delorier's car doing? It had to be, hold on, I'm going to break out my calculator here.
Before you even say anything, Larry Larson, 620 cubic inch, big block Chevy, end of discussion.
Yeah, well, let's see, 120.
Twin 94s.
Winning, since that's my combo, I'm with you.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, 5 horse per cubic inch. Go ahead.
I had a stock 460 Ford block run 660s, 430s in that 10 years ago.
Not bad. Not bad. Yeah. Fowler's got a big block Ford that A460 base motor that's a pretty badass, over 1,000 at the flywheel on pump gas.
Yeah, cubic inches.
I mean, they're all engines, guys. We need come together now. Let's not do this.
Oh, we're just having fun.
I know.
Hey, have LS motors gone 5s yet in the quarter? I know a
Oh God, here we go.
I know a 281 has gone 5s.
You know, just one of them has gone 5s.
Yeah.
It gets rebuilt every 10 passes with a new block that takes 200 hours.
I think they're stretching that out, man.
Right?
30 passes.
Oh, BS.
John
Mahovitz is awesome. Me and Chad know those guys, and they're quietly letting all those fun. It's a stock block. It's a blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever. Stock everything.
It is a Lincoln Mark 8 block.
Yeah, I talked to Mahovitz when we were at Engine Masters with him about how much prep work goes into that quote unquote stock block.
Tons of prep work.
100 to 150 hours a block to get 10 hits out of it.
Yeah,
30. Yeah, and I love Mahovitz. That dude's awesome.
No, they are awesome.
And it is impressive what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, they've spent years getting them to run the way they do. And I mean, they go to the trouble of actually balancing the camshafts in those things, because there's a weird harmonic when you get to about 1,200 feet on the drag strip. And otherwise it causes a vibration. I mean, they literally undercut the cam load in order to balance the camshaft.
Still running 5s. Still running 5s.
Listen, give just a little bit. There'll be one down there. Baker Adkins is getting closer.
I was going to say Adkins is working his way.
Still not running 5s.
Yeah,
not running 5s. No LS. Not doing it.
Mo, you need to take a drink, buddy. You got something in your throat over there.
Yeah.
You're going to have something in your throat if you're not careful. We'll send somebody over there.
He could use a mod motor chain to help pull his head out of John's ass.
And you can stand 12 feet away.
So here, since we're talking stock block stuff, so a topic on Facebook this week was whether or not they should have a stock block class for LSs at LS Fest in Bowling Green this year. And it has caused all kinds of discussion, as you can imagine. Now, a bunch of people are like, yeah, let's do the stock block thing, but anything else goes. And I said, I'd rather see stock block crank rods and pistons, which, of course, somebody said, oh, okay, are you volunteering to be the tech guy on that? And I said, no. Somebody else then also chimed in and said, we'll make it a claimer rule, like you can buy the short block, for some given amount of money, minus the cam and lifters at the end, so nobody cheats or whatever. What is your thought on that? Because personally, I don't see what the point of the stock block is. You can easily make 1,500 plus on a stock block. So why do we care? I mean, I realize that it saves you a few $1,000s over a race block. I see the money savings, but I don't know that there's some big performance thing unless I'm missing something.
What in the hell is that? Hold on.
Not me.
LS tears.
I think it's bowling.
I have
that might have been me.
Different question.
Go ahead.
Before we dive into the bottomless pit of SBE records and races and all that, I'm curious, for going back to the 10K challenge, are these cars that they're going to get to select from, do they already have like the safety equipment? In other words, are they all got sorted cages in them or something? Because 10,000 over 10 days is interesting, but if you start having to do cage fabrication and make them safety compliant, that gets kind of involved. We haven't touched much on this aspect of the cars to be selected. Are you able to talk to that at all, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be NHRA legal for sure.
Well, I don't mean they will be at the end of the 10 days. I mean, are people going to walk into just the body shell and, go ahead and get some tube and start bending? Or is some of these things either outside of the budget limitations, or some of these things have been taken care of already to make the focus on the rest of the build and the tune?
They're absolutely going to have to get that done in the 10 days. The other questions I can't really answer at this time, but I will say that Summit Racing has been great to work with, and that's going to be our partner for getting a lot of this stuff handled. Make sure the cars are safe.
Jimmy Bowling, who's you guys' fabricator?
Dan Davies at Diamond Race Cars. Also, one of the things is that safety stuff is provided, I believe, outside of that $7,000. Correct?
Wasn't that the idea? I thought that's how it went.
That's why I think Yost said it, that they were going to give you basically a cage kit and safety stuff separate.
Also, I think like braided line they're providing, and there's a few other things, I believe.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're correct. Safety belts, harnesses, battery box, cutoff switch, drive shaft loop, roll cage tubing, window net.
Cool. Saving the money for the fun stuff. Excellent.
Yep. Tires, fluids, spark plugs, nitrous, fuel, all that stuff will be provided. And that's outside of the 10K.
Now, what are you going to do about an equalizer for the rear ends? Let's say if somebody has a G body with a 7.5, it's not near as fair to them as somebody that might have a Mustang with 8.8.
Yeah, that's where the car selection comes in, for sure.
Do they get to like draw from a hat or anything? Like, do we know yet? Or?
Isn't there a challenge on the first day? Isn't like that's something I thought I remember reading somewhere? Like we're gonna have to do something to be able to pick what order we get to pick out of the cars. Is that?
I think Biggin said he's want to arm wrestle.
We haven't announced what those challenges will be, but that is 100% accurate. So there'll be challenges that the guys will have to go through, and that'll decide who picks when.
Outstanding.
All right. Another thing, is everybody going to be like in one building together, building it all simultaneously?
For the most part, yes.
Okay. So could the team swap parts back and forth? Like, let's say if one team has something that somebody else could use, but they're not going to use it, can the team sort of barter and negotiate a little bit?
That's an interesting question. I don't know that that's come up in our discussions as of yet, but that's something we could certainly consider.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Now
I'll change it to 7.5 for that 8.8.
Outlawed. Nope. Cross it off.
One of the first things I would do is I'd probably knock all the windows out of it, front window, the back window, and everything, getting the weight out of it. So that might be something else you might want to consider in the rules. Have it a little bit more specific.
That we did clip them on. Unfortunately, because that does is in part a safety thing too. We want full cars. We don't want cars that are, we don't want a vet cart that's stripped down to like just the frame or something like that. We don't want people taking a whole saw to the entire body. So we want full cars for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think you have some specific rules on there, like specifically no whole sawing, and aren't you supposed to keep most of the interior? I thought.
Yeah, you need a driver's seat for sure. A lot of the stuff you can take out, but for the most part, we want whole cars.
Gotcha. Man, that's going to end up interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Is this going to be like Big Brother, where there's going to be cameras rolling 24/7, and so everybody be able to tune in and watch the insanity, or is it going to be carefully edited down to a short segment?
We're going to try to edit it down for sure. We'll have multiple cameras on the scene, so we'll be capturing as much as humanly possible, but editing down for your viewing pleasure. I don't think you want to watch an hour of someone scratching their head. Like, what are we going to do now?
Can you edit my ears to look smaller or no?
Right. Skip the part where Jimmy's picking his nose too.
I don't know. The unedited raw video of Dean Carnes, there's no telling what might happen.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. You got to remember the audience, man. You probably do want to edit that.
Whoa, man.
Disco Dean, man.
There's no telling what might come out of that man's mouth.
Absolutely. They for sure had one of the most entertaining videos that video submissions for their entry. So that's one of the reasons why they were picked. I mean, they were universally loved for that very entertaining video.
Yeah,
entertaining. That's one way to put it.
Right.
Entertaining. Yeah.
Keep you on your toes is what they're gonna do. I don't know if I want to be the camera guy for that crew.
All right, dude. It's like the zoo. It's like the zookeeper chasing the gorillas. That's what it's going to be like.
Well, I think if I'm having a cocktail, like I might be more trouble than him. Yeah, we were wondering about that. Are we allowed to drink while we're building or no?
Sweet.
If they are, I'm sending you with like 2 bottles of the best. I'm going to send you like some Elijah Craig 18 year up there and let you.
I don't know if you ever saw Yost and those guys as a Team Biggins Drag Week trailer, man. It's half mobile cup car shop and the other half of it's a fully stocked wet bar. Outstanding.
They completely retired the Drag Week trophy for best trailer.
Yeah, right. There's no more contest for that. No one can beat that. Hey, man, I'm feeling like a big dog tonight. Lyle Barnett just liked the Real Tuners page. Outstanding, Lyle. If you're listening, we are huge fans. We want you to get on the show, man. If you could do that sometime, we'll bug him later. We'll see if Yost will get Lyle on here one night. But anyway,
so I'm late to the party.
You're also super loud, dude. Back down.
All right. Usually I'm super quiet. My bad.
Right. Now it's super loud tonight.
Is that better?
That is better.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So they get the $7,000. Is that all spent at Summit, or can they use that at a junkyard, or how does that work?
That's all through Summit. I know we've had some questions, people wondering, hey, why is it done that way? And it's essentially so that people can't game the system. I mean, it would be really easy for you to call your cousin and say, hey, why don't you sell me your big block for $50? And then, really easy to game the system that way. So that's really what we're looking to avoid.
Good deal.
Keep it fair and even for everybody.
Yeah, that is. That does a good idea.
No, it makes complete sense to me. That $7,000 is going to go really fast.
Yeah.
Where do I purchase the T-shirt I see popping up that says my fuel pump is louder than your Prius?
I want that in the slideshow. Is that someone can make? I don't know. I got that off the website off there. I was pulling some photos. I got a slideshow going right now, Scott, of you guys as some of your photos that were on Facebook. Very cool.
Oh my God, dude. I have a funny Prius thing. That just made me think of it. Earlier, I was running some errands. I was over at Lamb Components in Upland looking at really fancy struts and carbon brakes earlier. And on my way there, I passed a Prius sitting in the grocery store parking lot with a tow truck next to it, jump starting the Prius.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Was he just charging it or quick charging it, or what was? Or maybe somebody's really stupid, doesn't know how a Prius works.
They do have gasoline engines in them.
I know, but how fucked up does your Prius have to be if it can't start itself?
What most of the time they're just like, it's a generator motor, right? I don't even, to me, that sounds more like somebody was like, I'm not sure. Is this thing supposed to make noise when I push the button? Hook up some jumper cables.
They basically have an enormous alternator in between the engine and the transmission.
Yeah.
And so that can either charge the battery or create propulsion, and it also does start the engine. So
we're supposed to be cracking jokes here, Dalquist, not going through how a Prius works. They have a wonderful alternator. It's a brilliant design, and it's a blah, blah, blah.
My buddy put 16 volt in his, make it run faster.
Yeah, no. You can hot rod a Prius.
1,028 volts, 18 milliamp per hour with an expected range of 72 miles, amps per hour consumption.
Right.
I'd rather have a case of crabs than a Prius.
You guys are being way too technical. Is nobody drinking tonight?
No, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper tonight, man. I'm strawberried out after this last couple of days.
I've had a rough week. I got me a Captain and Coke right now.
Amen.
Yeah, I've had the week from hell. I'm on my 4th beer.
Nice. John, what do you got?
Oh, I brought out the Four Roses small batch for tonight.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh wow!
Breaking. I
I'm
brought out
feeling
the good
behind.
stuff.
I'm gonna get up and go get myself
Well,
a drink. Then.
Go get the bottle and bring it back. And
Jennifer brought me a warm glass to shut the hell up.
I bet a lot of our listeners are drinking that same drink.
I promised Scott I wouldn't drink, but I do have a brand new bottle of Basil Hayden right behind me I've been looking at.
You can go ahead and get started, man.
Get a late start. I'll be on good behavior.
We'll let
still.
Mr. Parker go. Anybody got questions in the group for Mr. Scott Parker before we let this poor guy go? Don't subject him to
When
the.
does the voting end for the 3 teams that are in the competition to get voted in? We know Biggin is running about 50% of the vote, and Team Dirty Jersey and South Bend, and I said that wrong, are right neck and neck at about 25% each. When is the voting actually complete?
The voting will be done on the 29th.
So
So
only a few
5 more days.
left, folks.
Yeah.
Vote early and often.
Get to horsepowerwars.com and vote for Yost. Team Biggin.
Yeah, now's the time to go out and vote for Biggin.
absolutely.
Yes.
It's also a time too, if you're interested in joining the dream team and your chance of winning $10,000 in a car, to apply. There's actually just 24 hours left to apply for the dream team too. That's an expense paid trip out to California to compete. I mean, you can't beat that.
Heck, I might apply for that. I think I could do that.
Yeah, we might have to go apply for that.
What if I already live here? I really do. Do they going to pay me to drive to Corona? It's like
a
25
dream
miles.
Team,
You can take the
Chad,
Prius.
not the nightmare team.
Yeah, right. Not the troublemakers. It's the
Well, I
dream
would
team.
be the nightmare team for them because there's so many holes in the rules. It's hilarious. Although that's one of the things that Biggin is like, oh my God. So
Yeah, Captain
it's good
Gray
that they're
area.
trying to lock them down because they, that's why I asked what the predictions were, because when it's like when LS Fest first started and they decided they were doing the engine swap challenge and they thought that was going to take a couple days. It was like, dude, you guys are so cute. But yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a riot.
I look forward to it. That's pretty funny. If you make the dream team, Chad, that's like when I got the job tuning for Andy Leach's Riddler car. They're like, well, where are you located? We'll send the airplane to go, send the jet to come pick you up. I'm like, well, I'm 20 minutes from you guys, but I'll go drive far away just to get a ride in your jet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same story, right? That's how I felt. I later did get to go for a ride in their jet. It was pretty sweet. We went out to Bonneville. But
Chad,
I think there should be a 24-hour camera on the deal because I think there's going to be all kinds of shenanigans and fun things to watch. And who knows what people will stay up all night watching.
Man, I wish I'd have knew about this earlier. I would love to get in on this.
we got a ton of customers doing it, man. I almost feel like I shouldn't go like compete because I got so many friends that are doing it. So I'm stoked at the way it's ending up, though. At least we're picking people.
Let me come over.
No, probably not.
I was actually watching it, and Bill wanted us to apply with a couple other people we know, and I got distracted by the hospital deal. But we had looked at it. It's a really, really cool deal. I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Tom, me, you, and Chad next year.
I'm down. Let's do this.
No, you know what I think we should do? Let's just do our own, like not in the competition, because that way people won't gripe about us being in a competition against somebody. Let's just put our own dream team together and just decide we're going to do it, and we'll call it vacation, and we'll do it and see what we can do and how we stack up. You know what I mean? Against all these great people.
That sounded like my last 3 days, man. It was awesome. It was like a paid vacation.
Yeah. See?
This sounds like a good documentary.
I can drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Why not?
You're so badass the blind guy could drive it.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Y'all ain't got a hair on your ass if you don't put the blind kid in it with some race radios.
Oh, dude.
Hey, is your NHRA license still good?
No, my Alabama state license is still good. That's
He's
all
still
it's
got a driver's license.
Hey, dude, all I know is that I'm going to shut him in the car, I'm going to belt him in, and then I'm going to tell him to send it.
Guaranteed to drive better than a Swift driver.
I'd like to be hooked into the radio there. Left, 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 right, right, left.
we got some cool stuff going on for the guidance system now. We're actually putting LiDARs up front that's going to sense the wall. Hypothetically, if I go to a drag strip, it's going to actually monitor the distance to the wall a whole lot faster, and also with the computer too.
bitching.
You know, you could just get me and Bewley there. I could take the right side. Bewley can be on the left, and we just go beep beep. You know, if you got to go left or right.
Well, I've got one request.
So in on this. Everything about this sounds like a bad idea. Where do I sign up?
I know, right? This is
into
horrible.
that.
We're put somebody's vet into the wall. Don't do that.
Hey, I just got one request. If they have a wet T-shirt contest at Horsepower Wars, I want to be the judge.
Yeah. My guy.
Do it by touch.
Yeah, hands on.
Hands on.
Oh,
my
Lord.
God.
Scott Parker's got to be like, what did I sign up for? These guys are idiots.
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
I don't know how
favorite blind friend, dude.
I don't know how to do a private message, but check Mixler, would you?
Did Mixler go south on us? Nope. I'm still broadcasting on Mixler.
No, we've there's a discussion going on there about audio. One guy can hear you fine, but
No,
the
I
rest of us, he
responded.
says is mumble.
Yeah, I don't know. We're at broadcast studio. We're at national broadcast levels right now. So turn your junk up.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome.
So, all right. Well, we can probably let Scott go. If anybody else, I don't see any other questions. Eric says thanks, everybody. Eric Yost is on here. Good to hear you guys, man. Good to see Lyle Barnett on here. Dusty Bradford's even listening.
Hey, Scott.
Yo.
Parker, dude, thank you, and we're sorry, and all those things.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being a good sport.
Man. This was an honor. I really appreciate it. The opportunity to come in here and talk about the show, and it was great.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you back. So we'll get you back sometime in the next quarter and see how things are going.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how your show comes out. I think it's a really, really cool deal.
It's a kick-ass idea.
So. Awesome. Really appreciate it, guys.
All right. Thank you, sir. Take care and have a good night. Cool. Man, that was nice.
Good
job.
Gone. We don't have to behave anymore.
No,
that
man, good
poor
call.
Bastard. He didn't know what he was in for, did he?
I don't think so, because he was talking with Fowler, was lining him up. And, you know, you talk to Bill, you think it's like,
dude,
oh, these guys have their shit together.
Idea.
Right.
No, see, Fowler.
You should come with a warning label.
Because Bill's good to have if you need to, like, talk somebody into something as if it's a good idea. But then it's also kind of unfair because they don't know what they're in for.
Yeah. He's an enabler for sure.
And then you show up and all hell breaks loose.
Right.
And by the way, Fowler, I got the part in today, so thank you.
He's probably at the vet.
Fowler's at the vet with a tub of Vaseline and a Chihuahua.
Why? What happened?
No, nothing. He's his Rottweiler is getting a laser treatment of some kind for the back or the hips or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so not anything horrible?
No, not horrible.
No. Okay, good.
The two of my favorite dogs besides my own are his. Gwen the
God,
Rottweiler and Chewy the Chihuahua is the most bitchin' Chihuahua, the least obnoxious Chihuahua on the planet. He's
Do those? You mean one of those actually exists?
Oh, dude, he's got a
I don't believe it either.
No, his Chewy is
I'm in a little bit
badass.
of disbelief.
Nope, Chewy's freaking awesome, dude. Love Chewy. He's super cool. Love that dog. But anyway,
he thinks he's a big dog, but not in the stupid way that most Chihuahuas
He
do.
doesn't know
He's
the difference.
Chill like a big dog.
Yeah, he's cool. He's excited for a little bit. You hang out for a couple hours, then he chills out, and then he's just a total cool dog. Sit up on your lap, do his thing. But he's so funny. He's the boss, man. He's like pack boss, and he's like, 3 pounds or some shit. But anyway,
like my pit bull thinks he's the Chihuahua size. He wants to crawl on your lap every night.
Right. No, Troy Baum's listening. I think it's whole car in 10 days for basically $7,000 plus they get the safety stuff free. So
now, what do they win? What does the winner?
We forgot to ask. That's why we suck.
You win the car and you win $10,000.
Right.
You get to keep the
Go
car.
drinking for the night or what?
So you get to keep your hacked up piece of junk.
That's right.
That's basically one night at the strip club for Carnes and bowling. You guys are going to burn through that before you get home. And I ain't lying. You know this.
No, I ain't lying because I'm sure they know where there's one at. Because if that's
their
happening,
home turf. That's out there by you too, Sewell.
Yeah, Norwalk's gonna be
I know, right?
Norwalk.
Well, if anybody needs a backup guy, hit me up. I'm local. I'll be glad to come and help.
Sewell's multi-talented too.
yeah, I can tune, I can fab, I got covered on about everything. But Scott just said the driver wins the car, and then the 10K is split among the other team members.
Got it.
Yeah, just what Dean Carnes would need, another car.
Hey, Shaggy put up a thing on Facebook today that was algebra, and it was N+1 equals the amount of motorcycles you should own, with N being the number of motorcycles you currently own. And I said, yeah, that was algebra I like, and it goes for all cars and trucks.
Yeah. Travis bought another bike. Dipshit.
Yeah.
That guy's hilarious. The last thing he needs is another motorcycle. Good Lord.
Dude, are you kidding me? Shaggy's the best, dude. Travis cracks.
He is the bomb. Do you know his wife, Brittany?
One-liner face.
Oh yeah, no. If you know Travis and Brittany and hang out with them in person, they're two of the coolest people on the planet. They're super cool.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. I met him when he saved my ass on the highway when my truck shit a transmission in the middle of somewhere between Grand Island and Kearney, Nebraska, middle of nowhere. And I literally had to make a Facebook post saying, "All right, I'm stranded at a rest area, middle of effing nowhere. Don't know anybody out here." Travis is like, 20 minutes, brother. I'll be right there. And he had a truck and a trailer to take care of business.
Oh,
it was awesome. But
dude, that and that had to be a long time ago, dude.
3 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
No, wait. Hold on. That was before I worked with the Proline guys. So that was, God, 5 years ago, 2013. Holy balls. Things are going fast. Yeah. Yikes. Oh, I feel old. But anyway. Yeah, so shout out to Travis and Brittany. They're not listening because they got better things to do.
Can we,
by the way,
celebration Norwalk?
Right now.
Oh, say that again?
Who, me or Reynolds? So can we back up the celebration Norwalk? You were talking about, the lay of the land around Norwalk, because that's where the actual race is going to be, and you're talking about strip clubs. There's really not a lot, but the one that's really close to the track is literally in a pole barn building.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it made with brass poles?
No. I mean, I've never been.
Yeah.
It did take me
that was too easy.
Yeah, it did. That was good. It did take me quite a few years to ever actually go there. I think I've been going to that track since I was 10 years old, so 1990. And I didn't go until, I don't know, I was probably like 30 before I went.
Interesting. Makes me just feel older.
Extraordinarily interesting, yeah.
Hey, kill that awkward silence. Somebody start talking. We got Reynolds on here. There is absolutely no need for silence.
That's what happened last time with me.
Awkward silence.
No, I was saying, though, I'm drinking moonshine. You guys are all rattling off fancy bourbon, but I'm drinking actual from Biggin moonshine. I mean, from somebody that Biggin knows maybe or not.
Right. It's south of the Mason-Dixon line down there in the southeast, man. Basically, every shop fridge has some stuff in it that looks and smells like kerosene that you can get your old diesel to start right up on if you need to.
No, it does not look nor smell. The good stuff is really, really good, and this
and it's clear.
Cherry that I'm drinking right now. You would like it, Mr. Strawberryta.
Oh, God, I overdid it on the Strawberrytas this last couple of days. These guys are like, yeah. They didn't realize I was kind of joking. They had like a case of Strawberrytas in the cans or whatever, like, break it out. And it was funny. We got halfway through the case. I'm like, these are not really meant for like party drinking, right, guys? And they're like, we're glad you said something.
You just got to go back to the mango. That's all.
Right. I put the man in Mangarito.
Mango is a smoother, easier drinker.
That strawberry one burns your gut after like 3 or 4 of them.
Hey, as long as Scott's drinking margaritas and Bewley has his toe mirrors out, life is good.
Yes. Right?
The toe mirrors, the toe mirrors got put in today.
He took the obligatory toe mirrors out picture, and then he was trying to defend it. Well, the little spot mirrors work really good that way. I'm like, oh, here we go. Check out my 6-inch exhaust tip.
I was really, really trying to find the picture of Beavis and Butthead with Beavis with his arms up in the air. Hey, look, I'm a Dodge. And I wanted to send that to John, and I can't find it anywhere.
I can find that. I got that on my computer still.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure, because I mean, you're not alone, because I got the one with the sprayer, the big John Deere spray rig that had the booms out with the last boom section folded straight up.
Yeah.
So look at me like I'm a Dodge. Yeah. Party, har.
All you got to look at is I am Cornholio.
Right?
Keep on my gung-ho.
It's that time of year where those big spray rigs are running up and down my roads right now here in Iowa. It's pretty funny. Every now and then you'll see guys driving a car underneath one. They'll have one of their friends cruise by and like literally zoom, go underneath. It's a
video or two
hilarious joke to play on your girlfriend. Honestly, it's like she thinks she's gonna die, and the guy raise it up a little bit and just zing right underneath it. That's the popular farmer trick around here.
Hey, I have a totally unrelated question to Parker and any of my other fabrication friends that are on here. Do you guys have a good Cleco kit source that you recommend online, or should I just look on Amazon and stuff?
Bueller.
Wow, crickets.
I don't do fab work.
So you know what my Cleco
clue.
source is? This is funny, Chad. I have buckets full of Clecos from when I restored that airplane, like way back in the mid 90s, and pliers. I've got a bunch of bucking bars for rivets, a bunch of tungstens. Negel's already spoken for him. He's like, I want those. But I have ass loads of Clecos and the different sizes and the pliers and a bunch of different stuff for working aluminum. It's kind of funny. I want to get back into that.
That's never going to do anything with those.
Nah, I would like to build another airplane again. That's just me. If you're gonna, if you're gonna
aircraft spruce,
aircraft spruce and specialty. Yep. Or Univair. The Univair catalog is another one. Univair.
What kind of airplane did you build, Scott?
I built a 1947 Luscombe 8F, as in Frank, which is the first all metal. It was the first all metal wing. It was right after post World War II era. It was the first metal wing civilian aviation aircraft to come out that didn't have a fabric wing, so it was all metal, and it was kind of neat. It was actually in really good shape when we bought it. We just had to go through the motor. It had a 90 horse Continental in it, but a fucking tornado tore it up while the motor was out of it, getting reworked, and flipped it over and destroyed the empennage and the tail. And actually, it fucked up the cabin, smashed the cabin down. So we literally disassembled the whole thing. That's where I learned to work in metal.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was super cool.
I wanted to build a Teeny 2 was the name of it.
Oh, yeah. I know what those are.
Metal plane, aerobatic. That's a cool looking little plane.
I'm still an EAA member. I've maintained my Experimental Aircraft Association membership for those who want to know weird facts about Scott. But,
next time you're close to Spartanburg, South Carolina, you need to stop by Gene Fulton.
Yes, and, I do want to go check out some of Gene's toys. Yeah, definitely.
Me and my buddy, we're going to fly into Gene's. He's on the U.S. aerobatic competition team.
Yeah,
and he has a Pitts biplane.
Right.
We're going to fly from here to Gene's.
He's
every
got
Wednesday
an
night.
S2.
Gene's buddies has a get together in his man cave every Wednesday night.
Yeah,
we're going to fly up there, hang out, spend the night, come back next day.
That sounds cool. I would like to go do that. That's a good time. I like hanging out with flyboys. That's a good time. The EAA guys are awesome.
Wait, are you talking about Gene Fulton as in the engine builder, as an airplane guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
he's got a fly-in. He's a big airplane guy, dude. He has a fly-in
I had no idea.
Yeah, he's got. I was up there a few weeks ago. We spent the night, and every Wednesday night he's got a cool ass man cave with one of the hangars, and everybody cooks out. But he's got about 4 ultralights. And he has a decathlon, and he also has a Cessna 182 that only has 2 seats in it. They skydive out of it. He has his own grass airstrip at the house. So every Wednesday nights, when the weather's good, his buddies they all fly in, and man, it's a good time. But yeah, Gene's huge airplane nut.
Perfectly good airplane. They just want to jump out of it.
I know, right? And I'll tell you what, them guys that jump out of airplanes, if you're a rookie or a noob pilot flying them trying to get hours, you know what those dipshits do to break in new pilots? They shut off the ignition, grab the keys on their jump, and then jump out. And you got to dead stick the plane back to the runway. That's
years ago.
I've never jumped out of an airplane. I've flown airplanes, but I've never jumped out of one. All my buddies that do skydive are like, the adrenaline rush is only for the first nanosecond. Like, you'll find it boring, Chad, because you're used to going fast. But they do say that never refer to an airplane that is designed for skydiving as a perfectly good plane, because quite frankly, you should probably want to get out of it.
Right.
The first time I went flying with Gene, I used to do the chassis work for Terry Robbins back in the day on their Outlaw Chevy 2. And I was up there, Gene come flying over in this ultralight. They said, Gene's going to come pick you up. He come flying over. I see, I'm just going to go get the 2-seat model. They said, that is the 2-seat model. All you sitting on little P pads and foot pegs right behind his shoulder, the type you got to push the wing forward to climb, etc. And man, we went flying, had a great time, and I've been flying with him several times over the years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like flying little planes. Little planes are more fun than, riding in
low and slow is where it's at,
fly
man.
In a commercial.
Low and slow is where it's at if you're into flying.
I didn't fly in a commercial plane until I was 18, but I had flown in little planes multiple times before that. And when I flew in the first commercial flight was all the way from San Francisco to Hawaii, and it was like, this is really boring.
Yeah, those flights are boring. Hey, I was just sitting here watching the slideshow go by, and I just saw a picture of the 911 Roadster motor on a stand at Bonneville. Those guys just set a record at El Mirage last week, and they blasted another record by like 15 or 20 miles an hour.
293. We went 293 at El Mirage.
No, that was somebody in a Streamliner did that with a blown Chrysler with another blown
that was,
nitro motor.
Yeah, that was the Shockwave guys. Those are those dudes are rad. Like,
has anyone gone
cool.
300 at Elmo before?
No, I don't think so.
Shit.
From what I understand,
that's a short course too, man, and dirty. But I don't know if you watched the videos. I was watching the live feeds. Brad Rorta, my buddy, was out there from Des Moines area. Shout out to Brad because he was doing live video feeds a lot, and it was really entertaining. And dude, the conditions were the best I'd ever seen. Like the track wasn't tore up and it wasn't super dusty.
How was the traction there?
Robert Dalton and the guys, they're out of Morgan Hill. They're in that Flashpoint Streamliner. It went 293 and change. They're good friends of mine. That's where I grew up, was in Morgan Hill, and like a bunch of my buddies and stuff, like, they're all on the team and like fabricate the stuff on the car and, maintain it and stuff. And like Joe Hamilton is a guy that I grew up with, and he's on Jeff Beal's team, also his Fuel Funny Car team with NHRA Big Show. And those guys, and then like Jackson and all of them, they're badasses. They have fun first and then throw more nitro in it and go fast. Like, I guarantee you that 293 was like a seriously safe conservative path. These guys are, if you have the chance to go hang out with them, like at Bonneville and stuff, they are an absolute riot. Like, I love them.
How is the traction at El Mirage compared to the Salt? I mean,
it's
totally different.
Totally different. Sucks.
There's the dog. Everybody take a drink. Chad's dogs.
Yeah, sorry. They
It's okay.
They Bonneville usually sucks. For traction for anything really big power like that in the last few years. But the dirt is a whole nother level of crappy. And it's funny because everybody looks at Bonneville as the big deal, right? They, it's so iconic, it's so historical, all those things. But for the Southern California guys, the guys that have, really are the heart and soul of land speed racing, they all look at a record at El Mirage as a much bigger accomplishment than a Bonneville record.
It's way harder to do. Yep.
And honestly, the ultimate land speed racing achievement is a championship at El Mirage, because there is the El Mirage Points Championship. That's a really big deal. And so it's a different thing. And to run at El Mirage, you have to be a member of a club. I happen to be a member of the Milers, which is a really like prestigious and cool club. And they were just really had a really bad day when they let me in it. But they're such cool people. It's amazing the number of guys that are like serious badasses that run at El Mirage. It's so cool.
That's cool. Have you ever been to the Mojave Mile?
Well, it's no longer in existence since the guy crashed not too long ago. They just canceled it. But no, I had never been there. I mean, quite frankly, like I've never been to any of the standing mile events on asphalt. I'd like to. I just never have had the time. But there's also a part of me that I don't know. This is going to sound so snobby, and I apologize because I really don't mean it to be negative. But it's just not as impressive to me to go fast on asphalt. Like honestly, Larry and I were asked to bring the truck out to Maxton or Ohio, whatever it was, and all those things. And really, if you can go 250 in a quarter of a mile, in the thing, going 250 in a mile won't be that big a deal. And it's just, I don't know. There's just something about it that there's some mystique that's gone from it when you don't have to live with the conditions of the dirt or the salt. You know, like that really does change things to me. Again, not taking away from what people do, because going fast is going fast, but it's different. I mean, it just really is different. And
it's a different form of racing. It's just a long drag race.
Yeah. Yeah. With minimal traction on dirt. And the stuff breaks up and gets ruddy and weird.
I'm talking about the standing mile stuff compared to the El Mirage or the salt, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, you know, because like the salt, you know, you fight in different conditions every year and heck, day to day and hour to hour, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it changes out there so much. I mean, Scott and I have a lot of experience on the salt.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of stuff there. I mean, I've gone faster than I ever went anywhere else on the salt, and I have done it backwards and forwards.
Yep.
It's just a different thing. And there's like a level of, I don't know, there's this level of commitment and this passion that is different at Bonneville than you're going to find at, you know, any normal race. And same with El Mirage. I mean, it just is. It's so different. And it's cool because the first time people go and see that, like you see somebody running at El Mirage, like I'm watching video of Robert Dalton in the Flashpoint right now, and the rooster tail of dirt is just crazy. And the whole time you're thinking, oh my God, that thing must be crashing with as much dirt as flying around. And that's just how it is, you know.
Sometimes you think paddle tires would do better there.
Go at all.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, sometimes the conditions are so horrible you think, how in the world could anybody accelerate past 100 miles an hour?
Been that way every time I go there. It's been that way, and that's just God, you couldn't breathe and just miserable.
You know, and that's, you know, my deal about my motorcycle. You know, I'm probably one of the slowest records at the salt, but to do what I did and be the only blind man in the world to ever do it with no human assistance, period. And to do it at to actually have a FIM record at the Salt Flats, you know, I'm super proud of it. Like
which an FIM record is a big deal, dude. By the way, that's a bigger deal.
Well, not only that, the record isn't dependent upon whether you have sight or not. It's the overall class record.
Yeah.
That's right. You know, it has nothing to do with being blind.
Exactly. No bitching out here.
And so, you know, there's not too many people who got a record at Salt, much less, you know, my situation. So it's cool as shit to be able to participate in that. Yeah. Anybody that is a gearhead needs to go to the Salt at least one time in their life.
Yes, I would agree. A Ducks race and a trip to the Salt.
Yeah, it's as close to God as you'll get. I am truly just so glad that Daphne actually went with me last year after all these years trying to get her to come out there. And she never could because the kids always had school that was starting that week and this and that. And this time it was like, we're going no matter what. And she spent the whole week with me there.
That's awesome.
It was, I mean, it was, I'm like so glad. I mean, it was, she finally got to experience it, even though she didn't feel good. She still got to
it was a good time.
You know,
And one thing, if people look at my motorcycle, the big push bar on the back, people ask why it's so big. And one thing that I share tonight, most people don't know this, I might have shared it before, but my brother died in 2009. And the first pass I made at Salt, his ashes were in that push bar.
Badass.
Before I went home, I spread.
I want to go out that way, man. If I go out early, you guys got to do something like that for me, Chad.
Yep. Yeah, my brother's ashes are at Salt.
Yeah.
Put me in a call and shoot me into outer space, please.
Yeah. But don't do something stupid and actually bump the chute in the staging lanes or some dumb shit move. Make sure we're at least out on the course.
Did I do that?
Yeah. Oh, we were going to let Clark out halfway down the course. Well, he's up in the staging lanes, but it's cool.
Don't let me sneeze.
God.
We're gonna can you in a pizzeria and put you on the mantle.
My coffee tastes like grandma.
Shoot him out of a potato cannon.
I want one of you to actually accidentally bump the chute in the staging lanes and have me go out everywhere. It would be fitting and funny.
Well, I know just the dipshit team to do it. Just kidding.
Yeah. They're just kicking around and act like it's a cat turd. You just flip it around, spread it out.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
We are so horrible and morbid. Oh man, it's been one of those years though. So yeah, all right, well, groovy. What time we got? 9:15. Man,
God, do you ever race anything?
No, no, I don't.
No desire.
No, not really, man. I really get my adrenaline rush from watching them make a pass, listening to them, and knowing what part I had. I don't even got to be the guy. I mean, I've just kind of even lost that zeal for I'm the tuner that did blah, blah, blah. I mean, tuning's a lot of stuff, but tuning's easier to me than the paint and body work on a car. You know, the fabricating guy and the paint and body work guys need more to be the bigger heroes than the tuners or whatever. But I do like to have my little part. I'm sitting here watching the screen go by. I'm like, my little part on Larry Larson's truck, which was quite a bit actually. But, you know, I just really enjoyed helping make that thing go and being a little part of the group that did that.
Scott, that's one thing I want to bring up. You know, the last several weeks you've been preaching to everybody that coil packs is better than mags and everything else. And that, you know, we saw that Jose, or just as well, but, you know, Jose won NHR the day, and they said that was the first coil pack car to win an NHR Pro Mod race. You know, so everybody needs to take that to heart. Is listening tonight that, you know, how far advancement technology the coil packs have come.
Oh, yeah. Well, the reason those guys on Jose's car, Jonathan Holmeyer, shout out to him if he's listening. He did the wiring on that car. They do that so that they can retard the timing enough to not beat up on the motor and have to cut spark to tear up the motor to be able to get to reduce the power enough for the power management. I mean, it works awesome for them, and it's eliminates the points box, eliminates the mag. You know, it's a good idea. I argued with them for 3 or 4 years down there in Ball Ground, Georgia, about, hey, we need to try coil packs. We need to do this coil packs, and you got to ground them this way. And anyway, they got it going. The Proline guys, A+, good job. It's good to see. But yeah, that's coil packs are where it's at. The IGN 1As, man, they'll spark anything. I don't care what anybody says. And people who say they won't.
Methanol,
if
you're just on methanol, it's fine. It's when you start adding nitro into the fuel that you start having to think about changing to a mag. Otherwise, the coil packs will light off everything. I mean,
I'm just going to politely disagree with you. I'm going to politely disagree with you based on actual testing in a spark chamber, in a compression spark chamber. The only reason I say that is you may switch over to a capacitive discharge, but you can duplicate that same spark energy at the plug. You can go with some guys that do that. There are some Bonneville guys that run fuel that do it with coil packs, and they're doing it with single giant MSD HVC coils per cylinder.
And that's a different story. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's
They're
a
doing
whole different. I'm talking
discharge.
about just IGN 1As.
Yeah. Okay. No, and again, I mean, I saw the IGN 1As hang at the same exact pressure and give up right about the same time that a Pro Mag 44 did. You know, and so I don't know. I think it depends. I think most guys that say, "Oh no, we can't make this work," I always will find problems with the way that car is powered or grounded. Watch my power and ground webinars at RealTuners.com to get your shit sorted out. It's kind of funny. That was
3 people to watch that thing this week.
No, that's a cheesy plug, but I'll tell you what, man, I got a really neat message from a guy that was like, "Oh my God, I repowered and grounded my car the way you said to do it. Car got faster, stopped breaking stuff, all this weird shit when the lights come on, everything going dim and weird, all that problem went away." But anyway, people don't realize that. I tell them, listen, man, there's a lot to speed and performance and reliability by understanding noise coupling. And you get it right. I mean, you know, I almost think everybody needs to suffer through. I can't get rid of this 4,800 RPM misfire no matter what I do. It's blowing out spark and it's blah, blah, blah. I think everybody needs to suffer through that for a while before they understand about noise coupling. That's all. We can move on.
Can I add a little bit to that, Scott?
Yeah.
So, I met Scott when we did a project for David Vizard. And that was my first fuel injection project. And everything that I've done, EFI, I bounce off Scott. Everything that I've done.
Tell him the truth. You thought I was coming up there to get my ass kicked with your carburetor, with your BLP carb, and I damn near did. But go ahead.
That was Engine Masters.
That was
Engine Masters.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But
we're gonna show this guy.
Yeah, and we pulled the carburetor out of the box and made one pull, and it was within 5 horse.
I know,
it was
really nice.
Freaking cool.
I told Mike Laws the other day, I was like, "No, I'll be honest with you, that thing was pretty badass because it took 5 minutes of work to install." But carry on.
But so everything that I've done EFI has been under Scott's advice. And last week I took my truck, which is a Gen 1 MS3 Pro, with a 385 cubic inch small block Chevy with a tunnel ram on it, converted to port injection with coil per cylinder. And I pulled a, 8,000 or 9,000 pound boat with 2 engines in the bed, 2 out drives in the bed, blah, blah, blah. The truck was loaded from Fargo, North Dakota down to Missouri, cruise control on, 75 miles an hour. And I was averaging high 8s with it on the way down there, and in the 14s on the way back in a 3/4 ton. averaged 11 and a half for the entire trip, 1,640 miles.
That's
and all of that was Real Tuners, or the basis is all Real Tuners. Have never had a single issue with the truck as far as noise or anything like that. Powers and grounds are done as per Mr. Clark.
Right on, brother. Actually, my favorite thing about that truck is the cold start videos when the coolant temp reads like minus 17. You reach through the window and fires it right off. That's actually the cooler part, but yeah.
I think the one thing that people need to take away is in your classes, the drivability side of stuff that you also teach too.
Yeah.
I see so many people that all they worry about is peak numbers, but the drivability sucks.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that the drivability helps the car actually go faster too, because it's got to pass through all those part throttle areas when you whack the throttle. Right. And if it loads up halfway through there, I mean, I don't know. I've got my own method for doing stuff. Other people are entitled to do it their way, but so far so good on the classes. They're popular. They're filling up. Actually, the Moe's class in Kansas City here at the end of July, that one's got seats left, and that's going to fill up. You all need to be signing up for that here pretty soon if you want to come up to that. But got lots of people coming from all over the country. Anyway, good times. We don't got to talk about me, but yeah.
I need you to have a class at my shop. That'd be good.
Bowling, we need to do one in Ohio. And Sewell wanted to help organize one too. Man, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Okay, offline. Let's pick a date. Like I get home Tuesday and I'm home for 7 or 8 days after Tuesday. I'm literally on a plane. Speaking of which, I got to go change out a load of laundry. But
I have to verify that my new stuff is working. On your advice, I got the Ballinger wideband, and I got the calibration grade deal or whatever.
Yeah.
However, so I had a pretty decent conversation with him about the additional grounding of the wideband. To make sure you're not getting feedback there. I've never seen anybody on a dyno like run an extra ground the way, so.
Those dudes know what they're talking about too, man. They've been doing this for a while. That's good shit. That's good shit. Listen to those guys. That's good. Very cool. So what else? Hey,
Going back to Bonneville, that's kind of like on my bucket list too, like how many things are on your guys' like motorsports bucket list? Like, and how often do you worry about like the longevity of motorsport?
Ooh, that's a good question. What are you guys' bucket list? Go ahead, man.
I'm lucky. I actually got to go to one of mine. I went to Nürburgring over in Germany 6 or 7 years ago.
Damn.
And oh my God, what an experience.
That'd be pretty cool.
I got lucky. A buddy customer of mine was like, he goes over and races all the time. He's like, Tom, you just need to show up. I'll make you a deal. You buy your plane ticket. I'll cover everything else. And he did. And oh my God, it was a blast. I had a Suzuki Swift that I drove around for 3 days. And my God, was it fun.
Cool. I haven't been to Germany, but I had a little, Vauxhall Astra that I was driving around when I was in England. It's pretty interesting. It's the best way I could explain it.
I just got one thing left on my bucket list: to be the world's fastest blind man. I'm good to go.
You're already the world.
I don't do bucket lists anymore. I'm over bucket lists. I'm on you just do your shit because you don't know how long you have. So I just have stuff I'm working toward all the time, and I just keep adding things as I do something, and I go, okay, now I have enough time. What am I going to do next? And I just keep rolling.
Yes.
Because as long as you work toward it, then you'll actually do something. Otherwise, we know people with 100 things on their bucket list, and if they knock off one of them before they die, they'll be lucky because they don't actually do anything to move forward toward it.
Talk about it.
So don't put it on the list. Just start working on it.
Yep. I don't really have any automotive bucket lists, but I want to go to Antarctica so I can say I've been on all 7 continents. I've been on 6 of the 7 in 52 countries. I just want to get down there to the penguins and leave.
I like it. The penguins are cool. I want some really good selfie of you with the penguins, though.
From what I understand, they're friendly because of the scientists who are always down there. They're getting used to people, and they have no natural predators down there because what else is going to go there? It's basically them and the gold and whatever fish they find. So they're very friendly, apparently, to the scientists down there. So wouldn't be hard to get a selfie.
That's awesome.
Tastes like chicken.
This is funny. I McMurdo Station down there, and let me know if you can't hear me. I'm on my side mic here, but I actually have a couple of stationary generator engines that I help guys set up down there remotely, and we have a satellite connection to them with CAN bus over satellite. Pretty badass, but I never got to physically go there. But anyway, I would like to go there. That's kind of a cool bucket list, man. Scott, you've traveled the world. I have not, but I'm kind of with Chad. My bucket list is pretty much done. I just want to do whatever else I can.
Yeah, that's right. And that's really the only thing on my bucket list at this point, because I have had the experiences of being able to travel and do so much.
Billy got his Dodge, so he's good.
Yep. I'm a happy camper as far as that's concerned.
But if you ever get the chance to go to Nuremberg, you got to go. It's an absolutely amazing experience. The carousel is just something else. Playing a video game just doesn't do it justice. It's amazing because you're racing around and you're like, there's 3 towns inside of this racetrack,
How many miles is that track?
You know what? I forget. I should know. I don't know.
7 something, isn't it?
Something like that. I have to Google it. But there's literally 3 towns inside of it. It's amazing. There's a huge elevation change. I don't know. It's just one of those things you can't explain.
I'm gonna go to the Isle of Man TT race. I would like to go sometime. The only thing I can think of.
12.9 miles.
Yeah, there's like 280 turns or something, and they're all different, which is really cool. They say it takes about 500 laps to get to know the track.
And I have to say, I've been really fortunate. I've driven on a lot of road courses that most people would, die to race on, and some that I never expected. And that one is definitely one I would love to do. In fact, I'm actually been talking with a buddy of mine about us doing a road trip event in Europe with a bunch of American guys and American cars. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But yeah, some of these racetracks, like I remember the first time I went around Road America, and I went around it with Mallard, who is like the guy that has the most laps around Road America ever. And they call him Duck, obviously, because his last name is Mallard. And he rode with me in a late model GTO around that track during a TV show filming that we were doing. And I told him, I said, look, I'm a driver, but I don't get to drive that much because I'm doing the stupid TV show. So, bear with me and we'll roll around here safely, but not crazy or whatever. And I was so excited because on our second lap, which was probably at, 7/10, he's like, the hell you're not a driver. This is how this works. You're hauling ass. And we made a few laps there and we were fast and it was fun. Like that track is really, really neat. And I've been lucky. I've been around a bunch of them that are really cool. And, and a lot of people don't get that chance. So it's kind of neat,
160 turns on the Nuremberg ring.
Damn.
Wow.
That's why I don't take seriously when they're like, our car has a record on the Nürburgring. I'm like, well, God, can the guy run repeatable laps on that thing? You remember the damn turns? They say there's drivers that do.
You just got to play about 600 hours of PlayStation to be able to figure it out.
I wish that were the case. The PlayStation won't do you any good. There's so many, I don't know what they say, camber changes in the road. When we were there, it's really weird because the track's private. It's really not a track. Technically, it's part of their interstate system. So it's a toll road.
They shut it down.
Yeah, they shut it down. But what happens is it's basically privately rented during the day. It fills up like years in advance.
The best YouTube videos are the guys with the minivan wrecking on the Nürburgring, flipping them over the rail. Sorry, I know that's not good, but those are hilarious.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but when we were there, it was the first fatal crash in like 30 years. So I flew past this car, right? And since the pay toll road, there'll be like a tour bus of Japanese, tourists there taking pictures. Like I drove by a guy, he had It was a motorcycle with a sidecar, and he had a dog in it. You know what I mean? And he was just kind of cruising around it.
How cool!
So yeah, so like there's actual laws. Like you can still get a ticket even though you're racing on it. So I flew past this blue car, and it looked like freaking Scooby-Doo mobile in that thing. There were 3 dudes in it, and it was completely smoked out. They were messed up because what happens is they only have so many open weekends, so everybody in Europe goes there on these weekends. They make a big party about it. You know, car clubs come. It's like a really big deal. And there's this straight spot, and it's dead nut straight, and they call it hit, miss, hit. So what you're supposed to do is when the camber changes on the first part, you hit it. You go with it. The second one, you miss it. You're not supposed to go with the camber change. And then you hit the third one. So what happened was the driver was obviously very inebriated. He hit the second one, hit the guardrail, and flew up off over the track. And the guy that was in the back of the car didn't have a seatbelt, and he flew out.
Ouch.
Oh,
not good. I hate that. I like safety equipment. That's why I like the East Coast and the Southern California Timing Association guys. They put a lot more safety requirements on these land racers than the some of these other milers.
Yeah, there's no safety requirements, no nothing. Just you can go, you pay your $20 a lap, and you go. That's it.
Well, and Scott, earlier you said that some of this stuff doesn't give you an adrenaline rush anymore or whatever. I remember very well when the Scott Clark wave was a very real thing, when you would decide that we were going entirely too fast during testing, air quotes, at Spectre International Motor Speedway. And,
Ontario Motor Speedway.
Around this corner while testing the EMS Pro, we would come around this corner in front of Spectre in the yellow Camaro, top a third gear, wide open, 4-wheel drift across this big wide street, and then grab fourth gear about the time we went across in front of the driveway of Spectre. And Scott would be waving his left hand like it was his job.
That's enough. Yeah. No, I don't even ride in cars much anymore because of that kind of shit, Chad. You kind of are the guy that ruined that. That was some adrenaline. That was also some urine.
I'm telling you.
And some other stuff came out.
We had a lot of fun back then.
Oh, yeah, we did. That was crazy days. I do not condone that stuff, man. Now I'm just so, it's funny. No, I'll tell you about, I had more adrenaline fun this last couple of days. Just had these guys with just their plain old hot rod cars. They were building a variety of things up in Minneapolis, and man, it actually really did rejuvenate me. I was really excited when we got that little DSM to crack that 150 number at the end of the quarter. And it had went low 140 miles an hour before, and he just wanted to go faster, more reliably this year than last year. And that was cool, man. I was actually out in the middle of the track at the starting line. I was like, high five, yeah, kick ass. I was like, wow. I haven't been like this in a long time. I think the last time we were that excited was when Larry cracked off that bottom 6 at Tulsa in 2014 at Drag Week. That's on the video. That was a really, really good time. And Daphne was there and everybody. That was a good time. Mama Bear and Larry's wife is way more fun than Larry. I like Larry. Don't get me wrong, but if you know Sherry at all, man, Sherry makes the whole event just a fucking awesome time. And that was the last time I had that kind of just like, yes, kick ass, And so I don't know. I just felt like I got renewed on that this last week. This class in Minneapolis in the next 2 days is going to be a blast because I'm just coming into it with a nice, good attitude on life. Things are good.
That's good, dude. I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah,
it is. It's weird. Like last Wednesday, I went to the drag strip here for the Wednesday night drags at Fontana, and I just went with my buddy Trevor, who was testing his bracket car, and I went, I stood there and shot video of his car launching because we were adjusting the front shocks that were a new set he put on, and we played with the carburetor a tiny bit, and I drank beer, and it was awesome. I haven't done any of those things at a drag strip in so long where I didn't have to cover anything. I mean, I just didn't care about anything except being there and having fun at the races. And that was cool,
Yeah.
Don't get to do that much.
The rest of you guys commenting, there's guys starting to comment with what their bucket list idea is. B.R. Harris, hitting the corkscrew at Laguna Seca in a prepped vintage 71 Javelin all done up like a Donahue car. That sounds pretty cool. I'd like to do that. I'd like to go ride with somebody there. I've learned to go ride with a guy who's a good road course racer. Because what's funny is I took lessons there at where they made us take lessons, Chad, at when we worked for Spectre at for their track days. They would always do. Amir was a big road racer.
Yeah,
we'd go to Willow Springs on the big track.
Yep.
And I remember it's so funny. Like everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm a great driver. Oh, I guess I'm a good driver. I'm an enthusiast." Blah blah blah. Man, you haven't lived until you pee yourself in the back of a 4-door Nissan Sentra that this guy's putting 20 seconds on you. You know, your best time in a Ferrari. You know what I mean? Holy crap! Those guys know how to drive out there. What was Tim? God, what was his name? Tim something.
Yes, I can't remember. Tim the Mopar guy.
Yeah, Tim the Mopar guy, the instructor at Willow Springs. What a nice dude. And I mean, that's what taught me is like, man, it's way more exciting to ride with somebody who knows what the hell they're doing around a road course. But
I always said I'd pay $1,000 to ride with the drift guy.
Tanner Faust?
No,
the
Ken
guy
Block.
Ken
Block.
Block.
Drive through Ken Block.
Yeah.
Ride with Ken Block running from the police through downtown Atlanta.
Justin Shearer, Big Chief, had a video of him riding shotgun with Ken Block. I'm like, God damn it, Shearer. I need to call him and get in on that.
Yeah. Hey, dude, speaking of Biggin, though, I'm looking on Facebook, and Lyle and Eric are both at the racetrack right now. I don't know, where are they at? Are they there at home? I think this is.
They're at the track with customers
it doesn't
tonight.
say where they're at.
That's what he
They
said.
could be at Kinston.
I think they're right there in
Where you at,
Mooresville,
Yost?
but I'm
They're
not
listening
sure.
to us in between. They were logged in here. Lyle was logged in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I
Where you
think they
bastards
might
at
be at
tonight?
Mooresville. It looks like it could be Mooresville. It's all the green grass, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're. Have you guys ever been to Mooresville to the drag strip there?
I have.
I have not.
Dude, it's awesome. Like, I love it because it's 5 minutes from.
Yeah,
from
Biggin's
Eric's
right
house.
on the track, isn't he? Pretty much.
Oh, dude, like, it's literally like if you were able to drive there in a straight line, you could be there in 2 minutes because you have to drive
Around
like a
the
mile
fence.
and a half
Yeah.
around the corner.
Right.
It's like 6 minutes. And so they drive anything. Like, they could drive a top fuel car there. It wouldn't matter. And the racetrack is so awesome. They have it's like the most podunk racetrack on one hand. And then on the other hand, I mean, they might as well lay down traction compound with a paint roller. I mean, it is the stickiest place ever. It is so cool. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but you can drink beer standing on the starting line, and I love that. Like, it is so cool.
We figured out you're not
I've
allowed to
been
do
with
that
them.
at BIR. Last night.
Oh, yeah. You are not allowed to do that at a bunch of places.
No.
But I will tell you that, like, I went there the first time with him, and Eric is like, dude, John Force wouldn't have as many people, talking to him and giving him the thumbs up as he gets at home. But being there with him, it was one of those where I was at some other event and just showed up to be at the races with him and Dan and everybody one night. And it was awesome. Like, had so much fun with those people. And all the guys there that hang out with Biggin all the time are just so rad. Like, they're just the best people. Seriously. Besides being talented, they're just hilarious. And they're awesome, and they're fun to be around.
Yeah, he's a cool
So
guy.
it makes it cool.
Yost has been calling me every couple of weeks with just a simple little question, just to call up and say, "Hey, what's up, man?" He called me the other day while we were in the dyno, and I was like, "Man, I like that you call me." Those guys
You
are a good
answered
time.
the phone?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Dan, I
Wow.
know. He's mad at me. You texted me like while I was on a plane or something, and I totally blew that off. My bad. Well, I know what you're going to know.
One-way call.
But I know what the hell you're going to ask. You're going to be like, I want to maintain my automatic window function on my late model Vet with my body control
no.
module. And you know what I'm going to
No,
tell you?
I think I got most of
I guess that's a fucking science fair project, but whatever.
No. I think I got most of that figured out.
Good. Yeah, those guys are helpful. Evans is your guy if you want to do crazy shit, for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to call him, and then I do have a question. I'll talk to you after the show.
We can do that.
Yeah,
We're going to stick around tonight. I got time. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm solid on opinions. You know me, man. I'll render an opinion.
Dude,
You want an
Scott
opinion?
Clark has
I'm your
got
man.
some of those.
Yep, I'm your man for an opinion.
You and me both, brother.
That's some
You
bitch.
and me both.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I thought you were going to run Mr. Parker off, Scott Parker, tonight, man. Chad's like, oh, your rules, well, they kind of suck. I'm like, no, God, here we go. But no, we did good. You behaved
I was
yourself.
not trying to do that. I was trying to, like,
You were getting pretty
prepare him
close.
for the fact that that's the questions everybody has. Because the one deal is, like, I understand them trying to lock them down, I get that. But, the truth of the matter is that guys are going to want to go buy a junkyard LS motor. I mean, that really is legit. And honestly, because they're doing it here, they could totally get rid of any of the shenanigans because, well, I shouldn't say they know this because maybe they don't, but normal people know that you walk into the pick apart here and you can buy LS motors for $250. So
if you buy the right one,
it's not a special deal. It doesn't require you to have a buddy. That's just how much they are. So, so you could set all that stuff up without any trouble. Same with big blocks. Like a big block is $200. Here at the pick apart, it's not a coincidence that a small block Chevrolet or a small block Ford is only $100. The good ones are all a couple $100, meaning big blocks and LS.
Right.
So,
Right.
but so a lot of people are wanting to see that be a part of it because it significantly changes the amount of money you'd have to spend and therefore how fast you could go. Because for $10,000, 10 years ago, you could run 10s for 10 grand. That's not a difficult thing at all.
Dude, we ran low 9s for $4 grand. $4,500, I think is what we figured out.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, that vanilla turd that Jim Newman
you
felt
can
built.
buy a Fox body Mustang, put a roll bar in it that's a bolt-in roll bar, and buy everything from Summit and run 10s all day long. Like, that's actually really simple.
Everybody gives Everybody gives Happel and the sloppy guys credit for that. Yeah. No, and the sloppy guys have carried it really far. But and that was funny. I was on the sloppy mechanics page today, and they had some really good reference material up there for doing the cheap combo. Yeah, shout out to Matt Happel for that. But we were actually part of the first Turbo LS Mega Squirt Micro Squirt deal here, and that was in Omaha here, and they took that car on drag week, and it was 980s and 940s. I think that thing ended up running. But
is there Facebook Sloppy Mechanics?
Yeah, Sloppy Mechanics on Facebook.
I'll follow that. Cool.
Dude, it's sloppymechanics.com. I believe that's their website. Google Sloppy Mechanics. They got a website with a whole bunch of shit on it, too. And a bunch of YouTube videos. Happel does a really good job of documenting stuff for people. That guy is the bomb at hey, I figured something out, and here's how I did it. And he won't tell you this is the only way to do it.
That would be the Sloppy Mechanics wiki page.
Yes, that's what it is. Hey, Rye, are you at the track tonight? What track are you at, dude?
Dude, I just left Kinston drag strip in Kinston, North Carolina. These guys, I'm kind of on cloud 9 right now because they gave me the microphone and let me call the racing for a little bit tonight for about 35.
Yeah, they're not very smart. I saw that on Facebook, dude. They are not very smart. Cool, but dumb. Yeah. How'd that go?
It was good, dude. I felt like I was gonna get punched in the mouth from the second I walked out of the tower because I was talking so much trash. But it was.
I love you right now.
Just tell me somebody got a recording of that.
I felt every bit of. I channeled my inner Brian Loans as much as I could, my inner Chad Reynolds, and tried to just do the best job I could. And I think I crushed it. Not to sound you.
So proud of you right now.
I know, me too, man.
So
that was
proud.
cool. Our boy is out there doing an announcing. That's badass. Good job, dude. I hope somebody recorded that. You got to get that next time if they let you do it again.
It was a good time.
Do it twice.
It was on my live. I did a live feed on Bull City Speed, but my phone died. But there's about 20, 30 minutes of me in there kind of cooking and jabbing. It was a little awkward at first because I've never done it before, but once I got in the swing of things, man, it was a good time. But
awesome.
We just went out and did some local testing tonight. Went out there with a buddy of mine's car. He's about to move back to the frozen tundra that is Wisconsin, so we decided to send him out with a bang.
On purpose?
And go out. He broke into the 11th tonight. Proud of the little guy.
Nice.
Hang on a second. Let's hear it. I got it right here.
My man Austin from P&M Performance in the right lane, out here having some fun in his little street car. What's up, Facebook? If you're just tuning in, I'm live with Bull City Speed as usual, and these guys gave me the microphone at Kinston Drag Strip, and I have the microphone, and I can say whatever I want.
You're going to hell.
Yeah.
I don't think NHRA is going to be calling anytime soon, brother. I'm just kidding.
Hey, that's all right. They're no fun anyway. Nobody wants to announce those races anyway. Dude, you're awesome, dude. Like, seriously. Oh, no, you really don't want that job. It's like minimum wage, and it's not good. No, seriously, it's really
the
not
higher
good.
the profile, the lower the pay, right? Pretty much.
Oh my God, by a long shot. Yeah. That's why I only did 2 events. They don't pay nearly enough. I'll put it this way. You make a lot more money announcing at a good guy show.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
Coming for your job.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
Yes. So anyway, the best deal, dude, is when you have total control because you are the guy with the microphone. Like, nobody can argue with you when they're on the ground with no microphone, dude. So you did it right. I'm so proud of you right now.
Good job, dude. Definitely go check out Bull City
they were-
Speed on Facebook, man. Rye's got a shitload of great videos up there too, and he's got his own tech stuff. Doing way awesomer than I'm doing. You do a good job, buddy. That's bad. I'm gonna go back and listen to that whole thing. Yeah.
They left me alone in there. Like, there was a second I was standing there talking, and I looked around. I'm like, there is nobody in here.
It's probably not a trust thing, Rye. It's probably not a trust thing. I'm just going to throw it out there. It may have been for other reasons.
No. I totally agree. They're like, look, we're gonna have to figure out where to put you because we do that top 10 shootout, that list race deal, and it's like it's a no time thing. And they're like, we're gonna have to stand you in another room so you can't see the computer and you can't see your fellow list racers' times. And I was like, whatever, man, just give me a microphone and let me look down the track.
Calling out the times for the no time guys.
It was good. I was like, oh, look, here comes a pair of challengers. I don't know if you guys are into racing boats, but this should be a nautical disaster. Check this out.
Oh my God, dude, you're so good. You're insulting Mopar guys. I love you. That's my job, dude.
Yeah,
oh my God. I've gotten actually confronted in an elevator one time by a Mopar guy who the next morning after a race who was mad at me for what I said about his car. And I'm like, so was anything that I said about your car untrue? And when he realized that, no, it was true that it weighs 4,400 pounds and is the heaviest muscle car on earth, then he didn't know what else to say. So, yeah, dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah,
so
screw them. They're
good
not
of
real
you.
people anyway.
No, they're Mopar fans.
No, I will say.
Sorry I missed the podcast, but I wanted to jump in here and just say I miss you guys, and I will be here next week for sure. I'm standing outside in the parking lot at a Taco Bell, so I'm starving. I'm going to go get something to eat.
Go do your Taco Bell thing, buddy. Good to hear from you, pal. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys.
Good job, buddy. I'm going to go back and listen to that. I can't wait.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Dude, Rye's the man.
He is the man. We like Rye.
He's awesome.
We were
That
just
dude
scrolling through
cracks me up.
Facebook videos, and we met him, and we stumbled across Bull City Speed. Me and Mary were looking at those. She's like, you need to get that guy on the podcast. He's awesome. And I just messaged him out of the blue. I'm like, hey, dude, you just want to join the podcast? He's like, well, dude, I don't know nothing about tuning or nothing. I'm like, we going to learn you. And we did, man. He got good at it.
I know,
now.
he was answering questions a couple
He
weeks
was
ago. Blew my
nailing it.
mind.
I know. He came to one of my classes and paid attention, taking notes. It was good. It was good stuff. It's a good group of friends.
Oh, yeah. No, he is. He's rad. And dude, when I posted like a video or two of his on Bang Shift, and I mean, dude, it was like I sent him a check or something. He was so excited. And I'm like, dude, it's really not nearly as cool as you think it is.
Right.
And I mean, dude, it was so awesome. He was just so thrilled. It made me it made me laugh. It made me happy. So
Hey, Dahlquist, tell us what's going on with Sandbeck and those guys at Top End Dragways. Are you still awake?
Yeah. So
talk a little bit.
Interstate Dragways has been around since the 60s, and then it went to, I don't know, Brummer Dragways, and then it went to Top End Dragways. And now the guys over at SRD, Sandbeck Race Development, have purchased the racetrack. And for the first, and I've raced there since the mid-1990s, but this is the first time since then that we have a pair of racers that are running the racetrack. And they have been putting their blood, sweat, and tears into making this place. What is that?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
But they have been putting their blood, sweat, and tears into making this racetrack the best that it can be. They have hired a company called Mass Traction to come out and do the
I
have no idea.
And I talked to one of your pharmacists today,
Conversation.
and they said just to have the drugstore Friday in Newport Beach. Call them, and so I called, and they said they were going to do it. So I'm assuming it got done, but you're saying you don't have them?
That's somebody having another conversation that we're hearing.
It's kind of entertaining.
Right.
I'm not going to lie. But
Let's just
so
sit here
Mass
and
Traction,
we can figure
Mass
out whose it
Traction is going to be doing all the prep work, and they were out. There was a spot in the track that had a low spot in the left lane that we called the bump, and they're taking that out. They scraped the track. I think it's the first time in I don't know how many years that the track has been scraped. The amount of rubber that was pulled off was insane. I think they had 355-gallon barrels full of rubber that they scraped off the track, or 4, something like that. They have been working very, very hard. They're bringing more powered spots in that where you don't need a generator. They're going to put up rental shops so that if you have a car and you want to rent a shop out there, you can keep your car right at the track. They're doing a lot of really neat things. Another thing they're doing is they're bringing in a drift track to bring drift racing into the Fargo-Moorhead area. And there's been a couple of people that have said, well, that's not my type of racing. I don't want to support that.
Piss on them, dude. I was at BIR and at Brainerd last night, dude, and they had drifting, drag racing, and road course racing. Jim Hall was up there on the road course. He was actually from TPI Specialties.
He's a
huge road
badass,
racer.
too.
Oh, I know. But anyway, all those guys were up there, and dude, all 3 of the courses, the tracks were like full, just right. Good time. God, A+ to the owners of BIR, man. I don't care about drifting. If they're out there, if kids are out there breaking their cars, beating the shit out of them, fixing them and upgrading, spending money, having fun, being safe, dude, A+. That's awesome. I don't care.
Hey,
what
well, the point is it's one more type of enthusiast at the facility to help support the facility.
Bingo.
That's right.
That's
right.
That's what I want to see.
You want to bring in go-kart racing, you want to bring in drifting, you want to bring in, I don't know, skydiving. I don't really care. Whatever brings in dollars to support the track is okay with me, But I'm really, really excited for what these guys are doing with the racetrack.
Yep.
Anyone that hasn't been to Top End or Interstate Dragways in a number of years, or even last year. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that over the years have drifted off to either BIR or the one down by Litchfield, Grove Creek. They're putting one up in Jamestown. There's Minot, but some people have drifted away, and racers sometimes get their panties in a wad over something trivial, and they say, "I'm never going back there. I'd rather drive 6 hours to this place because
blah.
They didn't insult me or something stupid."
Yeah,
but
you had a bunch of guys at Cordova bitching. We were talking about this earlier on the show. A bunch of guys at Cordova bitching because they had a big management change, and and it was a bunch of the class stuff, bracket guys, whatever. Oh, they're never gonna go for that. No prep stuff is stupid, and blah blah blah. And then the radio racing, whatever. Well, they got Charles Winslet to come up from Holly Springs and do their prep. And he's moved up here, and oh my God, that track has just gotten freaking awesome since then. Their events are kicking ass this year. But yeah, I like to see tracks doing new stuff to get people out. That's super cool to me.
Well, and the thing is Matt hauled his Mustang down to Matt Sambeck, one of the owners of SRD, brought it down to Cordova and came back. He goes, "I want a racetrack like that." And here we are, not even 6 months later, and he bought a racetrack.
He came to the private rental that we had that Doug Cook did. It was to kick off the RealTuners class that we had down there last fall. And Sandbeck and his guys came down there, SRD guys, and they were like, "Man, this is fun. We want our own track." Good time.
But who's ever listening, that you need to come up to Interstate or Top End, or to me it's Interstate because I've been there for so long. But Top End Dragways, you got to come try it out. They are making a killer surface, and they're going to make a go of it. And this is really exciting. You got to try it. Give them a chance.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny because people complain about not having drag strips. And the truth is there's more currently operating drag strips in the country than there's ever been in history. But people, like everything in life, people get on social media and bitch and moan instead of actually doing anything productive. And so they complain about racetracks, and then they create this relationship with racetrack owners where the owners don't want to even talk to people because they don't want to listen to people bitch. But when you get racers who are either a part of the management team or who are running a racetrack, it's always really refreshing, and it's cool because I think people give them a little bit more respect than they give normal track operators. So I think the relationships tend to be better. And I think it's great. I'm glad. It's cool to hear that they're doing some fun stuff. And like you said, whatever they want to do at the racetrack, if it affords them the opportunity to continue to put drag races on, then they should do whatever they have to do to make money.
Amen.
Exactly.
Yeah. Amen.
I literally had a post like that last week that basically was talking about, when you're just complaining about tracks, like, they're going to end up closing and then you're going to be even more upset. And it wasn't, obviously, if the tracks have problems, especially safety and whatnot, they need to be addressed. But most of the problem, like Chad was saying with social media, is it's just people complaining. They don't even know why they're complaining. They just want to complain. And they
just want to complain. Yep.
Everybody wants to complain. They don't want to be part of the solution.
Yeah, don't be that guy. You shouldn't. In fact, when I had a deal, I used to manage lots and lots of people in my IT job. And I had a rule, don't come to me with a complaint unless you've got at least one attempted solution. That was a good way to get on my bad side, is to come bitching about something but not having an idea how to make it any better.
Yeah.
You learn really quick.
Yeah, and nowadays people somehow think that because they have the ability to voice their opinion about any topic, regardless of whether or not they have any business doing so, they feel like that means they should be able to. And the truth of the matter is, if you are not qualified to make a statement or have an opinion on something,
social media qualifies everybody, Chad.
I know. Remember, I run a website. I know the internet makes everybody a fucking expert.
Everyone's got the same height stump now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's stupid, So, and with that said, I know that sometimes, my opinion may not be what people want to hear, and that's all perfectly fine. But, my common deal is, okay, everybody in the world can sign up for Facebook. So, that doesn't mean everybody in the world is entitled to your opinion. If you want to really give your opinion out there, then start up your own website. And if anybody actually pays attention to the fucking thing, then we'll listen to your opinion. Otherwise, just shut up.
Amen.
Well, and here's the problem with the internet. There's a lot of good, and of course, there's a lot of bad. But
where's the good? I haven't seen the good yet.
I had a telemarketer call me, and I was underneath the dash of a car, and I'm not a small person, so I had to wiggle my fat ass out from under the dash, run across the shop, get the phone because it's probably a customer, and it's a telemarketer, and she happened to hit me at the right moment, and I laid into her. And I may have said some things that were unprofessional, but she was so mad that she called me back to lay into me. And it was pretty impressive. And I pretty much told her where to go. Well,
and your polite Fargo way of doing it, ma'am, you can politely shove it in your butt.
Yeah, exactly.
I can totally hear it.
Well,
totally hear
it. Anyway, she went on every social. She went on every social media rating thing that there is and gave me a 1-star and said, if never do business with this person, blah 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 blah. It took me months to point out to the various places that this isn't a customer she's from California.
It's a telemarketer that I really pissed off.
It's a telemarketer. Blah 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 blah. It took me months just to get that rating off because she was unhappy that I didn't listen to her spiel, and that's awesome. You can really, really do a lot of damage to somebody just by being a prick,
Oh yeah.
You can really get into their skin if you go off on them politely.
It's funny though that you say that because I get a phone call at least 3 times a week from somebody trying to sell me solar panels for my house. Well, I rent my house, so I cannot put solar panels on it. I'm sure the landlord would love it if I was paying for solar panels, but not going to do it. So I have said to them so many times, please remove me from the list. And finally, I've gotten to the point where when they identify themselves, I know which place they're calling from and that I've told them multiple times. So now I just put them on speakerphone and go, oh, okay, about every, 15 minutes. And they'll go for an hour and a half telling
And
me
just
all about
not
it,
shut
selling
up.
me.
Yeah.
And I let them do the whole spiel.
They're
I mean,
playing
I
on
will
you
let
poor
them
California
get to
people.
The point of,
My
Yeah,
mom has you beat. When I grew up, our house is all brick. And
you
it was
do
this,
realize that right there was the perfect chance for your mom joke, and I'm going to be nice, right?
Right.
Hey, just lay it on me. I don't care.
My mom has you
No,
beat.
go ahead now. The moment is gone. The moment is gone.
I think that's what somebody's mom did.
We had a very, very large Victorian castle type house that was built in the 1800s out of solid brick with turrets and everything. And there's a siding company that called, and they wanted to do free estimates on siding. And they called right in the middle of dinner, and they were out of Minneapolis, which was about an hour and a half drive. And she goes, "Sure, I'd love a free estimate." "Oh, you have to come out and measure it?" "Oh, you can only drive out here on Thursday?" "Oh, yes, absolutely. On Thursday would work just fine." And so they had to drive all the way out, and she said
Find
she
out
saw
it's a
them
brick
around
house.
the corner. Yep, it's this enormous brick house, and they pull up and they drove around the block and stopped again, drove around the block, stopped again, and then they just left. They never even came up to the door.
No.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, she won that. Mom won that round.
You guys are going to run me out of
God,
time
yes,
tonight.
I love her.
Hey, stick around. I want to talk to all you guys after we're done here, but I'm going to wrap this up. So thanks, everybody. Thanks to Scott Parker for coming out tonight and talking to us. Now we all understand how the 10K drag shootout's going to work. Thanks, everybody who was listening tonight. All you guys out there, man, we really appreciate it. Sorry we put it off a night. Again, big shout out to my buddies, the guys up in Minnesota, man. Wade, Matt Haney, Cody, and Derek. Good times. All right, so check out our classes at realtuners.com and come see us and have a good time with us learning. Y'all take care and have a good night.